Hi, welcome to the Carpenter Shop. I want to read you a snippet of a verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. You've heard it. It says, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Christian author and speaker, Dr. Bob Hill, was 71 years old, and his mother passed away. She was nearly 94. Family and friends gathered in St. Louis for the memorial service, and Bob rose to open the funeral. Friends, he said with a smile, this is not a time for grieving, but a time for celebration. And at that moment, Bob suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and slumped to the floor. As his wife and children rushed to the platform and gathered around him, he slipped into glory while doing his own mother's funeral. Bob, as an author, had written over 60 books and preached hundreds of times, but his last words were probably the most memorable. He had intended for them to be about his mother, but instead they became a comfort to those he himself left behind. There is something about the security that we have in knowing that if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, when you take your last breath and your last moment here on planet Earth, in the next moment, you're with Him. Those that don't have a relationship with Jesus don't get the luxury of knowing that. And they live their entire life with that gnawing, stabbing insecurity of having to be fearful of what lies beyond. A lot of times they will try to rationalize it, and they will use their own common sense and decide that they've figured out what there is beyond this place. And my question to folks who always say that they have those answers and they know what lies beyond and they figured it out on their own, I always am intrigued by that. And I always tend to ask them, well, what qualifies you to answer that question? How do you know that? Where did you get that? How do you think you could figure that out on your own? Because to be honest, we didn't have anything with us getting to this place. So how in the world could we know anything about leaving this place? Well, we don't, except for what the Bible teaches us and what we've discovered through faith. Losing a loved one is always tough, but it's only a time of celebrating when that loved one has a relationship to Christ, and those that are hearing the story know that the celebration will continue again one day at a reunion that is waiting in heaven. If you are not a part of the family of God, then you have signed up not to be at that reunion. And so that's some business that you can take care of even today. You can pray and ask Jesus into your heart. Make the declaration that you believe, that you trust Him, and you want to follow Him. And in doing that, you've made a decision that makes you a part of the family of God and puts you on a journey that begins in this moment and carries you throughout eternity. You can know that for sure. And you can have the assurance of that salvation because God is faithful and God is always, always true and fulfills His promises. Something that you learn along the way, something if you're a follower you know, something if you're not a follower and you're hearing this, you need to learn it quick because you never know what's going to happen next. That's not a bad thing when you know Jesus. The unpredictable is a part of the excitement. I look forward to joining you next time here in the Carpenter Shop.